What time do you usually wake up?
I usually wake up around 6 in the morning.
Do you use an alarm clock?
Yes, I set 2 alarms just to be safe.
What is the first thing you do in the morning?
I drink a large glass of water.
Do you make your bed every day?
Always, it makes my room look perfectly clean.
What do you usually have for breakfast?
I usually eat a piece of toast and some eggs.
Do you drink coffee or tea?
I need a strong cup of black coffee to wake up.
How long does it take you to get ready?
It takes me about 30 minutes to get dressed.
Do you take a shower in the morning or at night?
I prefer taking a hot shower in the morning.
How do you get to work?
I drive my car to the office.
How long is your daily commute?
It takes about 40 minutes if the traffic is bad.
Do you listen to the radio in the car?
I prefer listening to educational podcasts instead.
What time do you start working?
I usually sit at my desk by 9 o'clock.
Do you check your emails immediately?
Yes, reading emails is the first task of my day.
How many hours do you work every day?
I typically work for 8 hours a day.
Do you take a lunch break?
Yes, I take a 1 hour break at noon.
Do you bring your own lunch or buy it?
I usually bring leftover food from dinner to save money.
Do you work well under pressure?
Sometimes, but I prefer having a clear schedule.
What do you do when you feel tired at work?
I stand up and walk around the office for 5 minutes.
Do you have a lot of meetings?
I have at least 2 video meetings every single day.
What time do you usually finish work?
I try to close my computer exactly at 5 o'clock.
Do you go straight home after work?
Usually, yes, but sometimes I go to the supermarket.
How often do you buy fresh groceries?
I go grocery shopping twice a week.
Do you cook dinner every night?
I cook most nights, but I order food on Fridays.
What is your favorite meal to cook?
I love making a simple, healthy chicken salad.
Do you watch television while eating dinner?
No, I prefer to eat quietly at the dining table.
Who does the dishes in your house?
I do the dishes immediately after I finish eating.
How do you relax in the evening?
I like to read a book on the sofa.
Do you play video games?
Sometimes, it is a fun way to relieve stress.
How often do you clean your house?
I do a deep clean every Saturday morning.
Do you enjoy doing laundry?
It is boring, but I love the smell of clean clothes.
What time do you usually go to bed?
I try to be in bed by 11 o'clock.
Do you read before going to sleep?
Yes, reading helps my brain calm down.
Do you have trouble falling asleep?
Only if I drink coffee too late in the afternoon.
What is your favorite day of the week?
Saturday is my favorite because I have no responsibilities.
Do you like to sleep in on the weekends?
Yes, I usually sleep until at least 8 o'clock.
How do you spend your Sunday mornings?
I drink tea slowly and plan my schedule for the week.
Do you exercise regularly?
I try to go for a long walk every evening.
Do you prefer working out alone or with a friend?
I prefer exercising alone so I can go at my own pace.
Have you ever tried yoga?
Yes, it is great for stretching my back after sitting all day.
Do you listen to music while exercising?
Always upbeat music gives me a lot of extra energy.
How often do you check your smartphone?
Way too often, probably every 15 minutes.
Do you use social media heavily?
I use it to watch videos, but I rarely post anything myself.
What is your favorite app on your phone?
The map application is the most useful one I have.
Do you prefer calling or texting someone?
Texting is much faster and more convenient for me.
How often do you talk to your parents?
I call them on the phone every Sunday evening.
Do you have a lot of close friends?
I have a very small circle of highly trusted friends.
How often do you meet up with your friends?
We usually grab coffee or lunch together once a week.
Do you like hosting dinner parties?
Yes, cooking for my friends is one of my favorite hobbies.
What is your favorite topic of conversation?
I love talking about new movies and technology.
Do you prefer small talk or deep conversations?
Deep conversations are much more interesting to me.
How do you handle stress in your daily life?
Taking a walk outside in the fresh air always helps me.
Do you have a favorite hobby?
Photography is my biggest passion outside of work.
Do you carry a camera with you everywhere?
I usually just use the camera on my smartphone.
What kind of photos do you like to take?
I love taking pictures of beautiful landscapes and architecture.
Do you edit your photos before sharing them?
Just a little bit to make the colors look brighter.
How often do you travel?
I try to take a short trip every 3 months.
Do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
The cool air of the mountains is definitely my favorite.
What is the most beautiful place you have ever visited?
A quiet, misty lake surrounded by tall pine trees.
Do you like flying on airplanes?
Not really. The seats are very uncomfortable for long trips.
What do you always pack in your suitcase?
A good book and a warm sweater are absolutely essential.
Do you prefer staying in hotels or rented apartments?
Rented apartments feel much more cozy and authentic to me.
Do you like trying new food when you travel?
Absolutely. Local street food is always the best part.
Have you ever traveled alone?
Yes, solo travel gives you complete freedom over your schedule.
Do you take a lot of videos on vacation?
I take short videos to remember the sounds and the atmosphere.
What is your favorite season of the year?
Autumn is wonderful because the weather is perfectly cool.
Do you mind the rain?
I love the rain if I am safe and warm inside my house.
Do you carry an umbrella in your bag?
Always, the weather here can change very quickly.
What do you wear on a cold day?
A thick jacket, a scarf, and comfortable boots.
Do you follow fashion trends closely?
No, I prefer simple, comfortable clothes that never go out of style.
What is your favorite color to wear?
I wear a lot of dark blue and simple black clothes.
Do you shop online or in physical stores?
Online shopping is much easier and saves a lot of time.
Have you ever returned something you bought online?
Yes, sometimes the sizing charts are completely wrong.
Do you prefer reading physical books or digital books?
Physical books smell great, but digital books are easier to hold.
What genre of books do you enjoy reading?
I love reading fast-paced mystery and thriller novels.
How many books do you read in a month?
I usually finish 2 or 3 books a month.
Do you go to the movie theater often?
Only for huge, visually amazing action movies.
Do you eat popcorn at the cinema?
Always, eating salty popcorn is half of the fun.
What is your favorite type of movie?
A smart, clever comedy that makes me laugh out loud.
Do you ever watch movies twice?
Yes, if the story is really good, I will watch it again.
Do you listen to podcasts?
Yes, I listen to them while I am cleaning the house.
What kind of music do you like?
I listen to a little bit of everything, especially acoustic guitar.
Do you know how to play a musical instrument?
I know how to play a few simple chords on the guitar.
Do you like singing in the shower?
Yes, the acoustics in the bathroom always make my voice sound better.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Consistency is more important than perfection.
What makes you feel genuinely happy?
Finishing a big project and enjoying a quiet evening at home.
Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
I am definitely an introvert. I need quiet time to recharge.
How do you usually celebrate your birthday?
Having a nice, quiet dinner with my family and closest friends.
Do you like receiving gifts?
Yes, but I prefer thoughtful experiences over physical objects.
What is the best gift you have ever given someone?
I created a photo album full of our best travel memories.
Do you enjoy learning new skills?
Yes, learning keeps your brain sharp and life interesting.
What is the hardest thing you have ever learned?
Learning how to edit professional videos was incredibly frustrating at first.
Do you use artificial intelligence in your daily life?
I use it to brainstorm ideas and check my grammar quickly.
Are you worried about the future of technology?
It is moving fast, but I believe it will mostly help us.
Do you think social media is good or bad?
It is a great tool, but it can be highly addictive if you are not careful.
Have you ever taken a break from the internet?
Yes, turning off my phone for a weekend is very refreshing.
What is your biggest goal for this year?
I want to completely organize my schedule and reduce my daily stress.
Do you write your goals down on paper?
Yes, writing them down makes them feel much more real to me.
How do you track your daily progress?
I use a simple checklist app on my computer.
Do you reward yourself when you finish a hard task?
I usually buy myself a really nice cup of coffee as a reward.
What is your ultimate dream in life?
To live peacefully, do creative work, and help others along the way.
Do you prefer cooking at home or eating at a restaurant?
I prefer cooking at home because it is much healthier.
Have you ever taken a cooking class?
No, I usually just learn by watching online video tutorials.
What is the most difficult dish you know how to make?
A slow cooked beef stew that takes about 4 hours.
Do you like eating spicy food?
I love it, but I always need a glass of cold water nearby.
Have you ever accidentally burned your dinner?
Yes, I completely forgot about a pizza in the oven once.
Do you eat a large breakfast?
Not really, just some toast and a piece of fruit.
What is your favorite midnight snack?
I usually grab a handful of mixed nuts or some cereal.
Do you check the nutritional labels on the food you buy?
Always, I try to avoid buying things with too much sugar.
Have you ever tried a vegetarian diet?
I tried it for a few weeks, and it made me feel very energetic.
Do you think expensive restaurants are always better?
Not at all. Some of the best food I have eaten was incredibly cheap.
What is your favorite type of international food?
Authentic Italian pasta is definitely my absolute favorite.
Have you ever grown your own vegetables?
I have a few small pots of fresh herbs on my balcony.
Do you prefer sweet or savory snacks?
I definitely prefer savory snacks like salted popcorn.
What do you do with leftover food from dinner?
I put it in a container and eat it for lunch the next day.
Do you drink enough water every day?
I try to carry a large water bottle with me everywhere I go.
What is the best dessert you have ever had?
A warm chocolate brownie with cold vanilla ice cream.
Have you ever cooked a massive holiday meal for your family?
Yes, it is very stressful, but also incredibly rewarding.
Do you prefer sparkling water or flat water?
Sparkling water with a little bit of lemon is very refreshing.
What is a food you hated as a child but love now?
I used to hate roasted broccoli, but now I eat it constantly.
Have you ever tried eating exotic street food?
Yes, trying local street food is the best part of traveling.
Do you eat your meals quickly or slowly?
I try to eat slowly so my digestion works much better.
What is the most useful tool in your kitchen?
A highly sharpened chef's knife makes cooking so much easier.
Have you ever skipped a meal because you were too busy?
Sometimes, but it always makes me very grumpy in the afternoon.
Do you like trying brand new recipes?
Yes, experimenting in the kitchen is a fun weekend activity.
Do you prefer a gas stove or an electric stove?
A gas stove is much better because it heats up instantly.
How often do you clean out your refrigerator?
I wipe down the shelves and check for old food every Sunday.
Do you compost your food waste?
I do not have a garden, so unfortunately, I throw it away.
Have you ever baked a cake completely from scratch?
Yes, it takes a lot of time, but it tastes amazing.
Do you buy organic produce?
Only for certain fruits, because it can be quite expensive.
What is the strangest food combination you enjoy?
I actually like dipping my salty French fries into sweet milkshakes.
Do you prefer working in the morning or at night?
I am definitely a morning person when my brain is completely fresh.
Have you ever used a timer to help you study?
Yes, working for 25 minutes and resting for 5 is highly effective.
What is the biggest distraction when you are working?
My phone vibrating with constant notifications always ruins my focus.
Do you prefer a noisy cafe or a quiet library?
I need absolute silence to concentrate on writing my scripts.
Have you ever fallen asleep while reading a textbook?
Many times, especially if the subject is incredibly boring.
How do you organize your daily tasks?
I write a very simple list in a small notebook every morning.
Do you listen to music while you work?
Only instrumental music because lyrics distract my thinking.
Have you ever missed a major deadline?
I missed one once, and I felt incredibly embarrassed about it.
Do you believe that multitasking actually works?
No, it just means doing two things very poorly at the same time.
What is the best way to prepare for a presentation?
Practice reading it out loud in front of a mirror several times.
Have you ever taken a nap during the workday?
A quick 20-minute nap completely resets my energy levels.
Do you prefer working on a laptop or a desktop computer?
A desktop computer is much more powerful for heavy video editing.
What do you do when you hit a mental block?
I step away from the screen and take a short walk outside.
Have you ever had a brilliant idea while taking a shower?
The best ideas always come when you completely stop trying to think.
Do you use highlighters when reading important documents?
Yes, color coding the text helps me remember the most vital parts.
What is the most boring part of your job?
Organizing hundreds of tiny computer files into the correct folders.
Have you ever worked on a group project where no one helped?
It is incredibly frustrating having to do all the work by yourself.
Do you think taking frequent breaks increases your productivity?
Yes, your brain needs short moments of rest to maintain deep focus.
What is the first thing you do when you sit at your desk?
I clear away any old coffee cups to make the space clean.
Have you ever lost a document because you forgot to save it?
Yes, and it is a painful mistake you only ever make once.
Do you prefer reading digital documents or printed paper?
Printing them out makes it much easier to write notes on the margins.
What is your absolute favorite office supply?
A very smooth, high-quality black ink pen.
Have you ever attended a meeting that could have been an email?
Wasting an hour in a useless meeting is extremely frustrating.
Do you think keeping your workspace clean is important?
A messy desk instantly creates a very anxious, cluttered mind.
What is the best advice for someone struggling to focus?
put your smartphone in a completely different room until you finish.
Have you ever tried using a standing desk?
Yes, alternating between standing and sitting completely saved my back.
Do you prefer to tackle the hardest task first or last?
Doing the absolute hardest thing first makes the rest of the day easy.
What is the most difficult subject you have ever studied?
Advanced mathematics was incredibly confusing for me in high school.
Have you ever taught a complex concept to someone else?
Explaining it simply is the best way to prove you actually understand it.
Do you think modern society values extreme overwork too much?
Yes, we need to completely normalize taking time to rest properly.
Do you prefer watching movies at home or in the cinema?
Watching at home is much more comfortable, and you can pause it.
Have you ever binge watched an entire television series in 2 days?
Yes, when the story is gripping, it is impossible to stop watching.
What is your favorite genre of books to read?
I love a really smart mystery thriller with a huge plot twist.
Do you listen to podcasts while you are doing household chores?
Yes, it makes folding the laundry feel much less boring.
Have you ever walked out of a movie theater because the film was terrible?
Once, the dialogue was so bad that I just could not stay.
Do you prefer playing single-player or multiplayer video games?
Single-player games with deep, emotional stories are my favorite.
What is the most rewatchable movie of all time for you?
A classic comedy that always makes me laugh, no matter what.
Have you ever gone to a live music concert by yourself?
It feels awkward at first, but you end up having a fantastic time.
Do you care about winning when you play board games with friends?
I am quite competitive, but I still try to be a good loser.
What is the last song that got completely stuck in your head?
A very catchy pop song that I heard playing in a grocery store.
Have you ever cried while reading a deeply emotional book?
Yes, a beautifully written ending will always bring tears to my eyes.
Do you prefer streaming music or collecting physical vinyl records?
Streaming is convenient, but vinyl records sound incredibly warm.
What is your favorite way to discover new artists or bands?
The algorithm on my music app usually recommends excellent new songs.
Have you ever watched a documentary that changed your perspective?
Watching a film about ocean pollution completely changed how I shop.
Do you read online reviews before deciding what movie to watch?
I check the audience score, but I usually ignore the professional critics.
What is the most challenging puzzle game you have ever played?
A game that required me to write down actual notes to solve the riddles.
Have you ever fallen asleep in the middle of an action movie?
If I am tired enough, loud explosions will not keep me awake.
Do you prefer reading fantasy novels or science fiction?
Science fiction is fascinating because it explores what the future might be like.
What is your favorite childhood cartoon?
Anything with bright colors and silly, slapstick physical comedy.
Have you ever attended a large comic book convention?
Seeing thousands of people dressed up in incredible costumes is amazing.
Do you use a dedicated e-reader or just read on your tablet?
An e-reader with an electronic ink screen is much better for your eyes.
What is the most beautiful video game soundtrack you have ever heard?
A fully orchestrated symphony that perfectly matches the gameplay.
Have you ever memorized an entire speech from a famous play?
I had to memorize a dramatic monologue for a class in high school.
Do you enjoy watching old, black and white classic films?
The pacing is much slower, but the acting is usually incredibly powerful.
What is the best television show ending you have ever seen?
An ending that ties up every single loose end perfectly and logically.
Have you ever bought merchandise from your favorite band?
I always try to buy a tour t-shirt to support them directly.
Do you prefer listening to audiobooks or reading the physical text?
Audiobooks are perfect for traveling, but physical books hold my attention better.
What is a movie cliché that completely annoys you?
When characters refuse to communicate to solve a massive misunderstanding.
Have you ever followed a complex, interactive online mystery?
Alternate reality games are incredibly creative and fun to solve.
Do you think video games can be considered a legitimate form of art?
Absolutely. The storytelling and visual design require immense creative talent.
Do you stretch your muscles immediately after waking up?
Doing 5 minutes of light stretching removes all the morning stiffness.
Have you ever tracked your daily water intake with an app?
Yes, it is shocking how little water you drink when you are deeply focused.
What is your absolute favorite way to exercise outdoors?
Taking a very brisk, long walk through a quiet neighborhood park.
Do you prefer working out alone or in a crowded gym class?
Working out alone lets me move exactly at my own perfect pace.
Have you ever tried practicing mindful meditation for stress?
Focusing entirely on your breath completely stops an anxious, racing mind.
What is the most important part of your nightly bedtime routine?
Turning off every single glowing screen at least an hour before sleep.
Do you take daily vitamins to support your immune system?
I take a simple multivitamin and extra vitamin D during the winter.
Have you ever used a foam roller on sore muscles?
It is incredibly painful at first, but it makes your legs feel brand new.
What is a healthy food swap you have successfully made?
I replaced sugary sodas completely with crisp, refreshing sparkling water.
Do you prioritize getting a full 8 hours of sleep every night?
Sleep is the absolute foundation of all physical and mental health.
Have you ever tried doing yoga to improve your core balance?
Holding those poses requires a massive amount of hidden physical strength.
What is your preferred method for naturally curing a headache?
Drinking a huge glass of cold water and resting in a pitch black room.
Do you think mental rest is just as vital as physical rest?
You cannot perform well physically if your brain is completely exhausted.
Have you ever successfully quit a terrible health habit?
Stopping my extreme daily caffeine intake cured my afternoon crashes.
What is the best way to maintain good posture at a desk?
Keeping the computer monitor directly at your natural straight eye level.
Do you use a fitness tracker to monitor your resting heart rate?
It is a brilliant way to measure how well your body is handling stress.
Have you ever tried a digital detox weekend for your mental health?
Disconnecting completely from the internet makes the world feel incredibly peaceful.
What is your favorite healthy vegetable to cook with dinner?
Roasting Brussels sprouts with a little olive oil and garlic is amazing.
Do you believe that walking every day significantly improves longevity?
Consistent, gentle movement is the absolute key to aging gracefully and pain-free.
Have you ever used an essential oil diffuser to relax?
The smell of natural lavender immediately signals to my brain that it is time to sleep.
What is a simple habit that instantly boosts your daily mood?
Getting direct, natural sunlight on my face first thing in the morning.
Do you actively try to limit your daily sugar consumption?
Sugar causes massive energy spikes, followed by terrible, exhausting crashes.
Have you ever tried to learn a new sport as an adult?
Learning to play tennis was incredibly humbling and physically exhausting.
What is the most relaxing physical activity you can imagine?
Floating quietly on your back in a warm, perfectly calm swimming pool.
Do you prefer a very hot shower or a freezing cold shower?
Hot showers are relaxing, but cold showers wake you up instantly.
Have you ever read a book about improving gut health?
Eating fermented foods completely changes how your body processes energy.
What do you do when you feel a cold slowly coming on?
I immediately drink hot ginger tea and sleep for 12 solid hours.
Do you think keeping a gratitude journal actually improves mental health?
Forcing yourself to notice the good things completely rewires your anxious brain.
Have you ever paid for a professional deep tissue massage?
It is the absolute best way to release the tension carried in your shoulders.
What is your ultimate philosophy on personal health and wellness?
Listen closely to your body, rest when you need it, and never compare your journey.
What is your favorite way to brainstorm completely new ideas?
I write down every single thought quickly on a massive whiteboard.
Do you think constraints actually make you more creative?
Having limited resources forces your brain to find highly unique solutions.
Have you ever solved a difficult problem while dreaming?
I have woken up with the exact perfect answer to a software issue before.
What do you do when you feel completely uninspired?
I go to an art museum to look at how other people express themselves.
Do you prefer working on creative projects alone or collaborating?
Bouncing wild ideas back and forth with a smart partner is incredibly fun.
Have you ever built something entirely from scratch?
Building my own custom wooden desk was highly challenging but very rewarding.
What is the best way to overcome extreme perfectionism?
Except that finishing a project is almost always better than keeping it perfectly unfinished.
Do you keep a small notebook with you to write down random ideas?
Always, because inspiration strikes at the most inconvenient times possible.
Have you ever used mind mapping to organize a complex concept?
Drawing visual connections makes complicated topics much easier to understand.
What is the most creative excuse you have ever heard someone use?
Someone once told me their dog literally ate their digital homework file.
Do you think logical thinking and creative thinking can be balanced?
The absolute best problem solvers use wild creativity backed by strict logic.
Have you ever fixed a broken item instead of throwing it away?
Fixing a broken camera lens with super glue felt like a massive victory.
What do you do when your first solution completely fails?
I take a deep breath, clear the board, and look at it from a new angle.
Do you believe that everyone is born with creative potential?
Creativity is just a muscle. It gets much stronger the more you actively use it.
Have you ever drawn a picture to explain a difficult concept?
Visuals can cross language barriers and explain things instantly.
What is a creative hobby you use purely to relax your mind?
I love building complex, thousand-piece jigsaw puzzles on the weekend.
Do you think taking risks is a mandatory part of being creative?
If you are not afraid of failing, you are not pushing the boundaries hard enough.
Have you ever reverse engineered a product to see how it works?
Taking an old radio completely apart taught me exactly how circuits function.
What is the best environment for your personal creative flow?
A clean desk, a hot cup of coffee, and instrumental music playing softly.
Do you actively seek out constructive criticism to improve your work?
An outside perspective is vital because you become blind to your own mistakes.
Have you ever combined two completely unrelated ideas into a new one?
Mixing a cooking tutorial with a comedy sketch creates fantastic content.
What is the most innovative piece of technology you use daily?
Artificial intelligence that helps me instantly refine my rough script drafts.
Do you think strict deadlines help or hurt the creative process?
A deadline forces you to finally stop overthinking and just finish the project.
Have you ever completely changed your mind after learning new facts?
Changing your mind when presented with better data is a sign of high intelligence.
What is your favorite quote about creativity or problem solving?
You cannot use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have.
Do you think walking actually helps generate better ideas?
The physical rhythm of walking definitely increases creative brain activity.
Have you ever found a brilliant workaround for a software bug?
Sometimes, the temporary hack becomes the permanent, brilliant solution.
What is the hardest creative block you have ever smashed through?
Figuring out the perfect title for a video after staring at it for 3 hours.
Do you think curiosity is the most important human trait?
Always asking why and how is exactly what drives all global progress.
How do you know when a creative project is finally complete?
When adding more elements stops improving the work and starts cluttering it.
What is your absolute favorite childhood memory?
Waking up incredibly early on a weekend morning to watch cartoons.
Do you remember the name of your very first best friend?
Yes, we used to ride our bicycles around the neighborhood every single day.
Did you have a favorite toy that you carried everywhere?
I had a small, plastic toy camera that I used to pretend to take photos.
What was your favorite subject when you were in primary school?
I loved art class because we got to paint and make huge messes.
Did you ever get into serious trouble at school for talking too much?
My teachers always had to move my desk because I would not stop whispering.
What was the best meal your parents cooked for you as a kid?
A steaming bowl of hot noodle soup on a freezing rainy day.
Did you have a secret treehouse or a hidden fort in the woods?
We built a secret fort out of old cardboard boxes in the garage.
Do you remember the very first movie you ever saw in a real theater?
I remember the massive screen and the incredibly loud sound system.
What did you strictly want to be when you finally grew up?
I wanted to be a famous movie director and tell amazing stories.
Did you ever try to run away from home over a tiny argument?
I packed a small bag of snacks and only made it to the end of the street.
What was the most terrifying childhood fear you eventually outgrew?
I was convinced a massive monster lived in the dark closet.
Did you collect anything highly specific when you were a young child?
I had a highly organized collection of shiny, colorful glass marbles.
What was the best part about summer vacation back then?
Having 3 months of complete freedom and absolutely zero homework.
Did you ever break a bone while doing something reckless?
I fell out of a tall apple tree and fractured my left arm.
What is a classic song that instantly transports you back to your childhood?
The catchy theme song from my favorite afternoon cartoon show.
Did you ever stay up past your strict bedtime to read a book?
I used to hide under the blankets with a tiny flashlight.
What was the worst chore your parents forced you to do?
Pulling stubborn weeds out of the hot garden was absolutely terrible.
Did you believe in magic or mythical creatures as a kid?
I completely believed that dragons were hiding deep inside the mountains.
What is the most embarrassing fashion choice your parents made for you?
They made me wear an oversized, bright yellow raincoat everywhere.
Did you ever win a trophy or a medal in a sport?
I won a tiny plastic medal for participating in a running race.
What was your favorite candy to buy with your pocket money?
A sour, incredibly sticky fruit candy that completely ruined my teeth.
Did you ever have a disastrous, highly dramatic birthday party?
It rained heavily, and my massive birthday cake melted in the humidity.
What is a mundane smell that makes you feel deeply nostalgic?
The smell of freshly sharpened wooden pencils immediately reminds me of school.
Did you have an invisible imaginary friend?
I had an invisible dog that I would regularly talk to in the backyard.
What was the most prized possession you kept in your bedroom?
A beautifully illustrated encyclopedia about different animals and insects.
Did you ever lose a baby tooth in a highly unusual way?
I bit into a hard apple and the tooth just stayed in the fruit.
What was the absolute best playground game you played during recess?
Playing a highly competitive game of tag until we were exhausted.
Did you ever successfully convince your parents to buy you a new pet?
I begged for a massive dog, but they bought me a tiny goldfish instead.
What is a childhood rule you completely hated but now understand?
Having to go to sleep early seemed like a massive punishment back then.
Did you ever accidentally break something incredibly expensive in the house?
I knocked over a fragile ceramic vase while playing indoors.
What was the absolute coolest thing a teacher ever did for your class?
bringing in a massive box of fresh pizza on the very last day of school.
Did you spend massive amounts of time playing outside in the dirt?
I would come home completely covered in mud almost every single afternoon.
What is a classic television commercial you still remember?
A highly annoying, incredibly catchy jingle for a famous toy company.
Did you ever completely believe a ridiculous lie an older sibling told you?
My older cousin convinced me that swallowing a watermelon seed was dangerous.
What makes you miss being a carefree child the most?
Not having to worry about paying monthly bills or scheduling appointments.
Do you prefer reading fiction or educational nonfiction books?
I completely prefer massive, highly creative fiction to escape from my busy reality.
Have you ever tried to write a complex novel?
I wrote detailed character outlines, but I failed to actually finish it.
What is the most inspiring book you have ever read?
A detailed biography about a highly resilient, brilliant historical inventor.
Do you prefer physical, heavy books or a sleek digital e-reader?
A physical book smells wonderful, but an e-reader is convenient for traveling.
Have you ever read a book that absolutely broke your heart?
I sobbed at the beautiful, tragic ending of a famous romance novel.
What is your preferred quiet environment for deep reading?
Curled up in a comfortable chair with warm, perfectly soft lighting.
Do you ever reread your favorite comforting books?
Rereading is wonderful because you always notice subtle, new background details.
Have you ever judged a book purely by its beautiful cover?
Absolutely, a gorgeous artistic cover will instantly grab my attention.
What is the most challenging, massive book you have ever finished?
A complex Russian classic that took me almost 3 entire months to read.
Do you prefer fast-paced thrillers or slow, atmospheric mysteries?
I love a slow burn mystery that slowly builds extreme tension.
Have you ever lent a cherished book to a good friend?
I did, and they accidentally spilled dark coffee all over the pages.
What is your favorite creative genre of poetry?
I love completely free verse poetry because it feels raw and beautifully natural.
Do you listen to long audiobooks while driving?
Audiobooks completely turn a boring commute into an educational experience.
Have you ever struggled with a massive case of writer's block?
Staring completely blankly at an empty digital document is terrifying.
What is the most effective trick to overcome extreme writer's block?
Force yourself to type terrible, messy sentences just to start the momentum.
Do you believe that detailed world building is essential for great fantasy?
Absolutely. The specific political and magical rules make the fictional world feel real.
Have you ever fallen in love with a fictional character?
Good authors beautifully trick your brain into caring for completely imaginary people.
What is your preferred tool for outlining a massive story?
I use a highly complex digital spreadsheet to track the specific timeline events.
Do you ever read multiple different books at the exact same time?
I keep one nonfiction book for the morning and a relaxing novel for night.
Have you ever bought an expensive brand new hardcover release?
Holding a beautifully printed new release is an absolutely fantastic feeling.
What is a terrible cliche you deeply hate in modern literature?
When a capable protagonist is suddenly saved by an impossible coincidence.
Do you believe that highly popular books are automatically badly written?
Not entirely, sometimes a simple book perfectly captures exactly what the public needs.
Have you ever written an angry book review online?
I wrote an analytical essay on exactly why the terrible ending ruined the story.
What is your preferred way to organize your massive bookshelf?
I organize the spines by highly specific, beautiful rainbow color gradients.
Do you ever visit massive, incredibly old public libraries?
Walking down the quiet aisles of old books is deeply peaceful.
Have you ever attended a crowded author's signing event?
Standing in a slow line just to say a quick hello is exhausting but fun.
What is a profound quote you have memorized from a book?
Not all those who wander are lost.
Do you believe that tragic endings make a story more memorable?
A highly bittersweet ending stays stuck in your brain far longer than a happy one.
Have you ever tried to write a short story in under an hour?
Using a strict timer forces your creative brain to stop overthinking.
What is your absolute favorite literary classic of all time?
A complex story about an incredibly obsessive captain hunting a giant whale.
Do you believe that artificial intelligence will replace human creative artists?
AI can generate complex visuals, but it lacks genuine human emotional trauma.
Have you ever imagined living in a futuristic city built on Mars?
The harsh environment would require incredibly complex survival technology.
What is the most terrifying piece of future technology you can imagine?
Microscopic nanobots that can entirely control human brain functions.
Do you prefer gritty cyberpunk movies or clean deep space utopian visions?
I prefer dirty cyberpunk because it feels incredibly realistic.
Have you ever watched a complex movie about time travel?
The incredibly complex paradoxes always make my brain hurt.
What is your favorite futuristic vehicle design?
A completely silent flying car that hovers perfectly above traffic.
Do you believe teleportation will ever become a physical reality?
Breaking physical matter completely down and rebuilding it seems absolutely impossible.
Have you ever played a massive virtual reality space exploration game?
Floating completely alone in the digital void is incredibly terrifying.
What is the absolute best benefit of a highly advanced smart lock?
A biometric lock means you never have to remember physical keys.
Do you prefer robots that look human or obviously look like machines?
I prefer machines. Human-looking robots are incredibly creepy.
Have you ever read a classic sci-fi novel?
Reading vintage sci-fi is fascinating to see exactly what they predicted correctly.
What is your favorite sci-fi movie alien design?
The terrifying, perfectly evolved deep space predator.
Do you believe human cloning will ever become legally normalized?
The ethical complications are far too incredibly massive to ever allow.
Have you ever used an AI tool to generate video?
I have tested models that perfectly generate entirely stunning visual clips.
What is a sci-fi trope that you always enjoy?
A ragtag crew of misfits completely saving the massive universe.
Do you prefer futuristic energy weapons or classic physical projectile guns?
Glowing laser weapons just look incredibly cool entirely on screen.
Have you ever dreamed about deep space travel?
I dreamed I was floating completely outside a massive space station.
What is your favorite dystopian society from a book?
A hyper-controlled society completely lacking all human emotion.
Do you believe that mind uploading will ever preserve human consciousness?
It might create a perfect digital copy, but your original consciousness would still die.
Have you ever used a smart home voice assistant?
I use it daily to control the massive lights in my studio.
What is the most incredible piece of fictional sci-fi medical technology?
A scanning bed that instantly cures all physical diseases.
Do you prefer hard science fiction or magical soft sci-fi?
I prefer hard science fiction grounded in complete massive reality.
Have you ever watched an anime about giant mechas?
Watching massive mechanical suits fight is visually stunning.
What is your favorite massive sci-fi video game?
A massive role-playing game set across a massive galaxy.
Do you believe human genetic engineering will completely eliminate all diseases?
It holds massive potential, but the risk of accidental mistakes is terrifying.
Have you ever built a custom water-cooled computer?
Assembling the complex glowing tubes feels exactly like building a futuristic sci-fi engine.
What is a sci-fi concept you completely struggle to understand?
Multi-dimensional string theory completely breaks my human brain.
Do you prefer utopian futures where everything is perfect or flawed worlds?
Flawed worlds are far more interesting for massive storytelling.
Have you ever used advanced camera gear?
Modern mirrorless cameras with deep AI autofocus feel exactly like futuristic alien technology.
What is your favorite sci-fi book ending?
A mind bending twist that completely changes reality entirely.
Do you prefer driving a low sedan or a higher vehicle?
I definitely prefer a Covey because the higher ground clearance is perfect for rough roads.
How does your car handle steep mountain passes?
It handles beautifully even when the roads are wet and winding.
Do you pay attention to your car's fuel consumption?
Yes, tracking fuel efficiency is incredibly important when driving on hills.
Have you ever taken a road trip through the highlands?
Yes, driving through the cool mountain air is my favorite way to travel.
Do you prefer an automatic or manual transmission for city driving?
Automatic is much better for surviving stop and go city traffic.
What is the most important safety feature in a modern car?
Automatic emergency braking has saved me from a few minor accidents.
Have you ever had a flat tire in the middle of nowhere?
Yes, but luckily I knew exactly how to use the spare tire kit in the trunk.
Do you like listening to music or podcasts while driving?
I listen to educational podcasts to make the long commute productive.
How often do you take your car in for routine maintenance?
I take it to the mechanic every 5,000 kilometers for an oil change.
Do you think electric cars will completely replace gas cars soon?
Yes, as charging stations become more common, electric cars will take over.
Have you ever driven through a heavy rainstorm?
You have to slow down significantly and turn on your hazard lights to stay safe.
Do you prefer driving during the day or late at night?
I love driving at night when the roads are completely empty and quiet.
What is the hardest part about parallel parking?
Judging the distance between the front and back bumpers takes a lot of practice.
Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket?
Only once, and I have been an incredibly careful driver ever since.
Do you use a dashboard camera in your car?
Yes, having a dash cam provides great peace of mind in case of an accident.
What brand of camera do you use for your video content?
I love using mirrorless cameras, especially ones with great color science like Fujifilm.
Do you shoot your videos in 4K resolution?
Yes, 4K gives the footage a very crisp, professional, and cinematic look.
How do you make the background blurry in your videos?
I use a lens with a very wide aperture to create a beautiful depth of field.
Do you prefer taking photos in a studio or outdoors?
Natural sunlight is beautiful, but a studio gives you total control over the shadows.
Have you ever struggled with your camera's autofocus?
Sometimes it hunts for the subject, which is why Sony's eye tracking is so helpful.
What is the most important piece of lighting equipment you own?
A large softbox light is essential for flattering, even lighting on a person's face.
Do you use a teleprompter when recording educational videos?
Yes, it helps me deliver complex grammar explanations smoothly without looking away.
How long does it usually take to edit a 10-minute video?
Editing the video, mixing the audio, and color grading usually takes several hours.
Do you create your own thumbnails for your channel?
Yes, designing a clean, clickable thumbnail is just as important as the video itself.
Have you ever lost your video footage because a memory card corrupted?
It is my worst nightmare, so I immediately back up all my files to two separate hard drives.
Do you write a full script before you start recording?
Always, a solid script prevents rambling and keeps the lesson highly focused.
What microphone do you use to record clear voiceovers?
I use a high-quality shotgun microphone positioned just out of the camera frame.
Do you think artificial intelligence is changing how we edit videos?
AI tools are amazing for automatically removing background noise and generating subtitles.
Have you ever collaborated with another content creator?
Yes, bouncing ideas off other creators is a great way to improve your own craft.
What is your ultimate goal for your educational content?
I want to build a supportive community where people feel confident learning English.
What is the most useful smart home device you own?
My smart door lock is definitely the most convenient piece of technology I have.
Do you use a fingerprint or a passcode to unlock your door?
The fingerprint scanner is much faster, especially when my hands are full of groceries.
Have you ever worried about the battery dying on a smart lock?
The app warns me weeks in advance, and there is always an emergency power port.
What does an IP rating mean for outdoor electronics?
It tells you exactly how resistant the device is to heavy rain and dust.
Do you use security cameras around your property?
Yes, having cameras that send instant notifications to my phone makes me feel very secure.
Have you ever compared different smart security brands?
I spent a lot of time comparing features between brands like EasyVIZ and Lock-in.
Do you control your house lights with voice commands?
Yes, being able to turn off all the lights from bed is incredibly lazy but wonderful.
What happens if your home internet goes down?
Most smart locks still work perfectly via Bluetooth even without an internet connection.
Do you use a robotic vacuum cleaner?
It saves me hours of sweeping every single week, which is amazing.
Have you ever shared a digital key with a guest?
Yes, it is great because you can set the key to expire after they leave.
Do you use a smart thermostat to control the temperature?
It automatically adjusts the climate based on whether I am home or away.
Have you ever installed a smart doorbell?
Being able to see and talk to delivery drivers from my phone is a game changer.
Do you think traditional keys will be completely replaced soon?
Digital access is so secure and convenient that physical keys will eventually disappear.
How do you protect your smart home from being hacked?
Using very complex passwords and keeping the software updated is usually enough.
Do you use smart plugs for your older appliances?
Yes, I plugged my basic coffee maker into one so it turns on automatically every morning.
What is the hardest part about speaking a new language?
Overcoming the fear of making a mistake in front of a native speaker.
Do you think watching English movies helps with pronunciation?
Yes, shadowing the actors is a fantastic way to improve your natural rhythm.
How do you remember difficult English vocabulary words?
I use them immediately in a real sentence to lock them into my memory.
Do you prefer learning grammar rules or conversational phrases?
Conversational phrases are much more practical for everyday communication.
Have you ever felt frustrated by your progress in learning?
Everyone hits a plateau, but consistency is the only way to break through it.
Do you think reading out loud improves fluency?
It physically trains your mouth muscles to produce unfamiliar English sounds.
What is your favorite way to practice listening skills?
Listening to casual, unscripted podcasts while I am doing household chores.
Have you ever translated a song's lyrics to understand the meaning?
Yes, but idioms and cultural jokes rarely translate perfectly.
Do you think having an accent is a bad thing?
Not at all. An accent simply proves that you are brave enough to learn a second language.
How do you handle it when you completely forget a word?
I stay calm and try to describe the object using simpler words I already know.
Do you use digital flashcards to study?
Spaced repetition apps are incredibly efficient for memorizing new phrases.
Have you ever recorded your own voice to check your pronunciation?
It feels very awkward, but it is the fastest way to catch your own mistakes.
What is the best way to politely ask someone to repeat themselves?
Just smile and say, "I'm sorry, could you please say that one more time?"
Do you think reading children's books is useful for beginners?
Absolutely. The grammar is simple and the vocabulary is highly practical.
What is your best advice for someone starting to learn English today?
Do not aim for perfection, aim for connection and just start speaking.
What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
I open the windows to let the cool, fresh mountain air into the room.
Do you drink coffee or tea to start your day?
A strong cup of hot coffee is absolutely essential before I start writing.
Have you ever grown flowers or vegetables in a garden?
The cool climate here is absolutely perfect for growing beautiful flowers.
Do you prefer walking or driving to the local market?
Walking is great exercise, but driving is necessary when I buy a lot of groceries.
What is your favorite way to spend a quiet Sunday afternoon?
Sitting at a cafe with a great view, drinking tea, and reading a good book.
Do you ever get tired of the cold weather?
I actually love the cold because you can always wear comfortable, warm layers.
Have you ever taken a hike through the pine forests?
Walking through the quiet trees is my favorite way to clear my mind.
Do you prefer cooking at home or eating street food?
I cook at home mostly, but hot street food is amazing on a chilly evening.
What time do you usually go to sleep?
I try to be in bed by 11 so I am completely rested for the next day.
Do you have a specific routine for unwinding at night?
I turn off all my bright screens and listen to instrumental music.
Have you ever visited a local waterfall?
Yes, the natural scenery in this region is absolutely breathtaking.
Do you prefer the busy city center or the quiet outskirts?
The quiet outskirts are much better for recording audio without background noise.
How do you stay warm during the coldest months?
I rely on thick wool sweaters and a really good space heater in my office.
Have you ever bought fresh produce directly from a local farmer?
The vegetables here are incredibly fresh and taste so much better than the supermarket.
What is the best part about living away from a massive, noisy metropolis?
The peaceful, slow pace of life gives you so much more mental clarity.
How do you stay motivated when a project becomes incredibly difficult?
I remind myself how many people my educational videos are actually helping.
Have you ever had to learn a completely new software from scratch?
Yes, learning advanced video editing was frustrating, but absolutely necessary for my career.
What do you do when you experience severe creative burnout?
I completely step away from my computer and take a long weekend off to rest.
Do you set strict daily deadlines for yourself?
Working independently means you have to be your own strict manager.
Have you ever completely failed at a major project?
Yes, but analyzing why it failed taught me exactly what not to do next time.
Do you think taking calculated risks is important for success?
If you never take a risk, you will never grow beyond your current comfort zone.
What is the most important skill for running an online business?
Consistency is far more important than going viral overnight.
Have you ever received harsh criticism from a viewer?
You have to separate the constructive advice from the pure negativity.
Do you keep a dedicated workspace in your home?
Having a specific room just for working helps me separate my job from my personal life.
How do you handle distractions when you need to focus deeply?
I put my phone on silent and leave it in a completely different room.
Have you ever asked a friend for professional advice?
Bouncing ideas off a trusted friend always gives me a fresh, new perspective.
Do you plan your content schedule weeks in advance?
Yes, having a clear roadmap reduces my daily stress significantly.
What is your ultimate dream for your career?
To create a massive library of high quality, accessible language lessons for everyone.
Do you think artificial intelligence will replace content creators?
AI is a powerful tool to assist us, but it cannot replace genuine human connection.
How do you celebrate when you hit a major subscriber milestone?
I usually just take a deep breath, smile, and treat myself to a really nice dinner.
What is the most valuable life lesson you have learned so far?
Time is your most precious resource. Spend it doing things that actually matter to you.
Do you believe that true happiness comes from achieving big goals?
Happiness comes from enjoying the quiet, everyday moments while working toward those goals.
Have you ever changed a core belief you held for a long time?
Yes, being open to changing your mind is a sign of intelligence and growth.
What would you tell your younger self if you could go back in time?
I would tell myself to stop worrying so much about what other people think.
Do you think hardships make a person stronger or more bitter?
It depends entirely on whether they choose to learn from the pain or hold on to it.
What is the true definition of a successful life in your eyes?
Having the freedom to wake up every day and choose exactly how you spend your time.
Have you ever felt perfectly content with exactly where you are?
Yes, realizing you already have everything you need is a profoundly peaceful feeling.
Do you think human connection is more important than personal ambition?
Achievements feel completely empty if you do not have anyone you love to share them with.
What legacy do you want to leave behind in the world?
I want to be remembered as someone who made learning easier and more enjoyable for others.
If you could only ask one final question, what would it be?
How can I use what I have learned today to help someone else tomorrow?
Have you ever experienced a severe culture shock?
Yes, moving to a country with a completely different language was very overwhelming at first.
Do you prefer to learn local customs before you travel?
Always, showing respect for local traditions makes traveling much easier and safer.
What is the most confusing cultural rule you have encountered?
In some countries, tipping at a restaurant is actually considered highly offensive.
Have you ever accidentally offended someone in a different country?
I used the wrong hand gesture to point at something, which was considered rude there.
Do you think food is the best way to understand a new culture?
Absolutely. Sharing a traditional meal breaks down almost every language barrier.
Have you ever stayed with a host family abroad?
Yes, living in a real home teaches you far more than staying in a tourist hotel.
What is the biggest difference between city life and mountain life?
Mountain cities like Dalat move at a much slower, deeply peaceful pace.
Do you adapt quickly to new time zones?
It usually takes me 3 full days to stop feeling completely exhausted.
Have you ever struggled to read a foreign menu?
Many times, so I usually just point at a picture and hope it tastes good.
Do you think traveling makes people more open-minded?
Seeing how other people live destroys a lot of unfair stereotypes.
What is the best way to make local friends when traveling?
Visiting small, independent coffee shops and simply saying hello to the staff.
Have you ever attended a traditional wedding in another country?
The bright clothing, loud music, and massive feasts were absolutely incredible to experience.
Do you prefer guided cultural tours or wandering around alone?
I like taking one guided tour first and then exploring entirely on my own.
Have you ever bargained for a souvenir in a local market?
Yes, negotiating the price is actually expected in many open-air markets.
What is a cultural habit you picked up from traveling?
I learned to always take my shoes off immediately before entering a house.
Do you currently work from home or in an office?
I work entirely from my own home studio, which gives me great flexibility.
What is the hardest part about working completely remotely?
Remembering to actually stop working when the evening comes.
Do you have a dedicated room just for your office?
Yes, closing the door helps me separate my professional and personal life.
How do you stay focused without a boss watching you?
Writing my scripts and editing videos requires strict self-discipline.
Do you dress up for virtual video meetings?
I wear a nice, professional shirt, but I usually keep my comfortable sweatpants on.
Have you ever experienced internet issues during an important call?
Yes, the screen completely froze right as I was making an important point.
Do you prefer communicating via email or instant messaging?
Email is much better because it does not demand an immediate, distracting reply.
What is your favorite piece of equipment in your home office?
My ultra-wide computer monitor makes editing complex video timelines much easier.
Do you miss the social aspect of a traditional office?
Sometimes, but I make sure to meet up with my friends on the weekends.
Have you ever dealt with a difficult client online?
Setting very clear boundaries and having a signed contract prevents most issues.
Do you listen to music while you are working?
I listen to quiet instrumental music to block out the street noise.
How do you handle creative burnout from looking at screens all day?
I completely step away, go outside, and take a long walk in the fresh air.
Do you use a standing desk?
Yes, standing up for a few hours every day completely saved my back.
What is the best way to manage a heavy workload?
I break the massive project into tiny, manageable steps and tackle them one by one.
Have you ever worked from a coffee shop?
I do it occasionally, but the background noise makes it hard to record audio.
What is your favorite way to get some exercise during the week?
I love going for a long, brisk walk in the cool evening air.
Do you prefer working out at a public gym or at home?
Working out at home is much more convenient and saves me travel time.
Have you ever tried to run a full marathon?
No, running long distances hurts my knees, so I prefer low impact exercises.
Do you stretch before and after you exercise?
Stretching afterward is absolutely crucial to prevent my muscles from feeling stiff tomorrow.
What is the most difficult sport you have ever tried to play?
Tennis requires an incredible amount of hand-eye coordination and fast reflexes.
Do you listen to fast-paced music when you work out?
Yes, an upbeat playlist instantly gives me the energy I need to finish strong.
Have you ever joined a local sports team for fun?
I joined a casual badminton club, and it was a great way to meet people.
Do you track your daily steps using a smartwatch?
I aim for 10,000 steps a day to counteract sitting at my editing desk.
What is the best way to stay hydrated during a heavy workout?
I keep a large bottle of ice-cold water right next to my exercise mat.
Do you enjoy swimming as a form of exercise?
Slimming is fantastic because it works your entire body without damaging your joints.
Have you ever tried lifting heavy weights?
Building physical strength completely changed my posture and reduced my back pain.
What do you do when you have absolutely zero motivation to exercise?
I tell myself I only have to do it for 5 minutes, and usually I keep going.
Do you think expensive workout clothes are actually worth the money?
Only the shoes matter. Wearing cheap running shoes will eventually ruin your feet.
Have you ever taken a group yoga or Pilates class?
The instructor pushed me much harder than I would ever push myself at home.
Do you prefer morning workouts or evening workouts?
Getting the workout done in the morning gives me a huge sense of accomplishment early on.
Do you currently have any pets living with you?
I do not have one right now, but I would love to adopt a dog someday.
Do you consider yourself more of a cat person or a dog person?
I love both, but a loyal, energetic dog fits my lifestyle much better.
What is the most difficult part about taking care of a new puppy?
Waking up in the middle of the night to train them is completely exhausting.
Have you ever taught an animal a clever trick?
I taught my friend's dog how to sit, stay, and shake hands for a treat.
Do you think pets genuinely understand human emotions?
Absolutely. They always know exactly when you are feeling sad or stressed.
What is the funniest thing you have ever seen a pet do?
A cat chasing a red laser pointer perfectly up a wall never stops being funny.
Have you ever bought clothing for a pet?
Only a warm, waterproof jacket to protect them during freezing winter walks.
Do you talk to animals like they are real people?
Yes, having a one-sided conversation with a dog is surprisingly very therapeutic.
What is the best way to introduce a new pet to your home?
You must do it very slowly, giving them a quiet, safe space to hide initially.
Have you ever volunteered at a local animal rescue shelter?
Walking the rescue dogs on the weekend is a wonderful way to give back.
Do you think exotic animals like snakes or lizards make good pets?
They are fascinating, but they require very strict temperature and dietary control.
What do you do when you have to travel without your pet?
I ask a very trusted friend to come over and feed them daily.
Have you ever fed stray cats in your neighborhood?
I leave a small bowl of dry food outside during the cold winter months.
Do you think having a pet is too expensive?
High quality food and unexpected veterinary bills can definitely add up very quickly.
What is your favorite breed of dog?
A golden retriever, because they are incredibly friendly, smart, and gentle.
Do you play a musical instrument?
I learned to play the acoustic guitar when I was a teenager, but I rarely practice now.
Have you ever performed on a live stage?
I sang in a school choir once, and staring out at the dark audience was incredibly nerve-wracking.
Do you prefer intimate acoustic shows or massive stadium concerts?
An intimate acoustic show feels much more personal, and the sound quality is usually better.
What is the most difficult instrument to master?
The violin seems nearly impossible because you have to rely entirely on muscle memory for pitch.
Have you ever attended a classical symphony?
Watching dozens of highly skilled musicians play perfectly in sync is a breathtaking experience.
Do you think learning music helps with language learning?
Yes, understanding rhythm and tone makes it much easier to pick up the natural flow of a new language.
Have you ever lost your voice singing at a concert?
I cheered and sang so loudly that I could barely whisper the next morning.
Do you buy physical merchandise when you see a band live?
I always try to buy a tour shirt to directly support the independent artists.
What is the best genre of music for intense focus?
Instrumental jazz or classical piano keeps my brain engaged without distracting me with lyrics.
Have you ever watched a live Broadway musical?
The elaborate stage designs and live vocal performances are absolutely spectacular.
Do you think talent shows on television find genuine artists?
They find great singers, but the music industry requires much more than just a good voice.
What is the most nostalgic song from your childhood?
A simple piano lullaby my mother used to play for me before bedtime.
Have you ever tried writing your own song lyrics?
I wrote a few terrible poems in high school, but I never put them to actual music.
Do you prefer listening to full albums or random playlists?
I love listening to a full album from start to finish to hear the artist's complete story.
Have you ever traveled to another city just for a concert?
Taking a road trip with friends to see our favorite band was one of my best memories.
Have you ever volunteered your time for a local charity?
I helped sort donated clothes and food at a community center during the winter holidays.
Do you think schools should require mandatory volunteer hours?
Yes, giving back to the community teaches teenagers profound empathy and humility.
What is the most rewarding part of helping someone in need?
Seeing the genuine relief and gratitude in their eyes when they realize they are not alone.
Have you ever participated in a massive beach or park cleanup?
Spending a Saturday picking up plastic waste makes you hyper aware of your own environmental impact.
Do you donate money to global organizations or local ones?
I prefer local charities because I can actually see the direct impact of the funds in my city.
Have you ever tutored a student for free?
Helping someone finally understand a difficult math concept is a wonderful feeling.
Do you think small acts of kindness matter in the grand scheme?
A single kind word can completely change the trajectory of someone's terrible day.
Have you ever fostered a rescue animal?
Taking a scared dog into your home and showing it love is difficult but beautiful work.
What is the best way to help a friend who is going through a hard time?
Do not offer unsolicited advice. Just sit with them, listen, and bring them a warm meal.
Do you think corporations have a moral duty to give back?
Absolutely. Businesses extract resources from the community, so they must reinvest in it.
Have you ever donated blood at a hospital?
It takes less than an hour, and it can literally save multiple human lives.
What is a simple way anyone can volunteer from home?
You can use your computer to transcribe historical documents or map remote areas for disaster relief.
Do you think anonymous charity is better than public charity?
Giving silently is noble, but public giving can inspire thousands of other people to join the cause.
Have you ever organized a fundraiser?
Organizing a bake sale taught me a lot about logistics, marketing, and community spirit.
What is the most overlooked social issue in modern cities?
The deep, painful loneliness experienced by the elderly who have no family left to visit them.
Do you ever look up at the night sky and feel incredibly small?
Realizing that every star is a distant sun completely puts my daily stress into perspective.
Have you ever studied basic philosophy?
Reading the ancient Stoics taught me how to separate what I can control from what I cannot.
Do you think humanity will ever travel to another star system?
The physical distances are terrifyingly vast, but human ingenuity has conquered impossible odds before.
What is the meaning of life in your own words?
To find what you love, master it, and use it to leave the world a little brighter.
Do you believe that we are alone in the universe?
Statistically, there must be millions of other planets with life, but we may never cross paths.
Have you ever had an existential crisis?
Thinking too deeply about the infinite nature of time usually gives me a slight panic attack.
Do you think true free will actually exists?
We are heavily influenced by our biology and environment, but our daily choices still belong to us.
What happens to human consciousness after we pass away?
It is the ultimate mystery, but I like to think our energy simply returns to the universe.
Do you believe that absolute truth exists, or is everything subjective?
Scientific facts are absolute, but human morality and art will always be highly subjective.
Have you ever read a book about quantum physics?
The idea that observing a particle actually changes its behavior is absolutely mind-bending.
Do you think the rapid advancement of technology makes us happier?
It brings comfort, but true happiness still comes from simple human connection and a quiet mind.
What is the most beautiful aspect of human nature?
Our remarkable capacity to endure immense tragedy and still choose to love again.
Do you believe that suffering is a necessary part of growth?
A muscle only grows when it is torn. Similarly, wisdom is usually forged in the fires of hardship.
Have you ever pondered the concept of infinity?
Trying to imagine a space that literally never ends is a fantastic exercise for your imagination.
Do you think morality is inherent or taught by society?
We have a basic biological instinct for fairness, but complex morals must be taught by culture.
What is a random, obscure topic you have spent hours researching?
I fell down a rabbit hole, learning exactly how ancient Romans built underwater concrete structures.
Do you think the traditional university model is broken?
It is far too expensive now, especially when the internet holds the sum of all human knowledge.
Have you ever learned a practical skill purely from a YouTube video?
I learned exactly how to unclog a kitchen sink and saved myself a very expensive plumbing bill.
What is your favorite way to absorb dense historical information?
Listening to enthusiastic, well researched narrative podcasts while taking a long walk outside.
Do you think memorization is an outdated teaching method?
Memorizing facts is useless. Teaching students how to critically analyze sources is what matters now.
Have you ever tried to learn a dead language like Latin?
It helps immensely with understanding the deep root structures of modern English vocabulary.
What do you do when you realize you are completely wrong in an argument?
I swallow my pride, apologize immediately, and ask the other person to educate me further.
Do you think adults lose their natural childhood curiosity?
Society beats the curiosity out of us by demanding strict compliance, but you can always reclaim it.
Have you ever taken apart a broken machine just to see the inside?
Taking apart a broken film camera taught me how complex and beautiful mechanical engineering is.
What is the most mind-blowing scientific fact you know?
There are more trees on planet Earth than there are stars in the entire Milky Way galaxy.
Do you prefer learning through reading or hands-on practice?
I must physically do the task with my own hands before my brain actually understands the concept.
Have you ever taught yourself a complex coding language?
I learned the basics of web development to build a clean portfolio for my video work.
What is the best way to foster a love of learning in children?
Never punish them for asking why, and help them find the answers together in a book.
Do you think documentaries are a reliable source of facts?
You must always remember that even documentaries have an inherent bias and a specific story to tell.
Have you ever visited a massive, ancient library?
Walking through dusty shelves of old books feels like standing in a temple of human knowledge.
What is the most physically demanding thing you have ever done?
Hiking through a torrential downpour with a massive, heavy backpack to reach a mountain shelter.
Do you think overcoming adversity builds genuine self-esteem?
True confidence only comes from surviving difficult things and realizing you did not break.
Have you ever faced a massive, terrifying professional rejection?
A company turned down my video pitch, but it forced me to start my own independent channel.
What is the best way to handle the immediate shock of a failure?
Allow yourself to be entirely sad for one evening, then wake up and analyze the data.
Do you prefer a smooth, easy journey or a difficult, rewarding one?
An easy journey teaches you absolutely nothing. The friction is where the real value lies.
Have you ever had to start completely over from absolute zero?
Deleting a terrible script after 2 weeks of work was painful, but the second draft was brilliant.
What is the most common reason people give up right before succeeding?
They mistake the massive, exhausting dip in the middle of a project for an impossible wall.
Do you think strict discipline can conquer a lack of natural talent?
Consistency and stubborn grit will defeat lazy, unpolished talent every single day of the week.
Have you ever successfully mediated a massive conflict between friends?
Forcing two angry people to sit down and actively listen to each other is exhausting, but vital.
What is the proudest moment of your entire career so far?
The day my channel hit 100,000 subscribers felt like a complete, beautiful dream.
Do you celebrate your massive victories or just move to the next goal?
I used to move on immediately, but now I force myself to pause and drink a toast to the hard work.
Have you ever faced a challenge that you ultimately could not beat?
Yes, and learning to gracefully accept defeat is a massive, humbling life lesson.
What is the most important trait for a leader during a severe crisis?
The ability to project absolute, unwavering calm even when they are internally terrified.
Do you think complaining about a difficult task makes it harder?
Vocalizing your misery drains the exact energy you need to actually finish the terrible job.
Have you ever conquered a deep, paralyzing phobia?
I was terrified of heights, but forcing myself to go indoor rock climbing completely cured it.
What has been the most surprising part of this massive undertaking?
Realizing how many different facets of daily life and philosophy can be explored through simple conversation.
Do you think the English language is uniquely suited for nuance?
Its massive, stolen vocabulary allows for an incredibly precise description of complex human emotions.
Have you found that answering these questions clarified your own thoughts?
Yes, forcing abstract thoughts into concrete sentences always provides an immense sense of clarity.
What is the most important element of a truly great, memorable question?
It must bypass the logical brain and demand an immediate, honest, emotional response.
Do you believe that conversational practice is the ultimate key to fluency?
Grammar books build the frame, but spontaneous conversation builds the actual living house.
Have you enjoyed providing these practical, natural language examples?
Creating useful, realistic content that helps people learn is always a highly rewarding endeavor.
What is the best way for a student to utilize this massive list of questions?
Read them aloud, study the sentence structure, and then try answering them with your own life stories.
Do you think technology will ever replace the need for language learning?
Translators are great for logistics, but you cannot translate the cultural soul of a human interaction.
Have you noticed a recurring theme throughout all these different topics?
The underlying thread is always the human desire for connection, understanding, and personal growth.
What is the true value of curiosity in the modern, distracted world?
Curiosity is the only shield we have against apathy, ignorance, and the slow decay of the mind.
Do you hope these questions spark deep conversations between friends?
Sharing honest answers to these prompts would forge an incredibly strong, unbreakable bond.
Have you ever felt that language is a barrier rather than a bridge?
Only when people use complex jargon to exclude others, true communication always seeks clarity.
What is the ultimate goal of mastering a second, difficult language?
Gaining a second soul, a second perspective, and a completely new way to interpret reality.
Do you believe that education should be completely free and accessible?
Knowledge belongs to humanity, and open access is the only way to elevate our entire species.
What is the most beautiful word in the entire English dictionary?
Resilience, the quiet, noble ability to return to your original shape after being bent by the world.
What is your favorite piece of technology?
I absolutely love my smartphone because it connects me to the world.
Do you use a tablet or a laptop?
I use a laptop because it is much easier to type on.
How often do you upgrade your computer?
I only buy a new one every 5 years when the old one breaks.
Do you prefer wireless or wired headphones?
Wireless headphones are much more convenient for me while working.
Have you ever tried virtual reality?
Yes, playing games in VR is an incredibly amazing experience.
Do you know how to code?
I know a little bit of basic HTML from high school.
Do you back up your digital files?
Always, I keep everything saved on a secure cloud drive.
What do you think about self-driving cars?
They are fascinating, but I still prefer to drive myself.
Have you ever flown a drone?
Yes, it is a great way to capture beautiful aerial video.
Do you use facial recognition to unlock your phone?
Yes, it is much faster than typing a passcode every time.
Do you own a smartwatch?
Yes, I use it to track my daily steps and heart rate.
What is the most useful app on your phone?
My map and navigation app is definitely the most useful.
Do you think robots will replace human jobs?
They will replace some manual jobs, but they will also create new ones.
How many hours a day do you stare at a screen?
Probably around 8 hours because of my daily work.
Do you use a password manager?
Yes, It helps me keep all my online accounts perfectly safe.
Have you ever built your own website?
Yes, I used a simple template to build my online portfolio.
Do you play games on your smartphone?
Only simple puzzle games when I am waiting in a long line.
Do you think technology connects or isolates people?
It does both, entirely depending on how you choose to use it.
Have you ever used a 3D printer?
No, but I would absolutely love to see how they work in person.
Do you read digital books or paper books?
I use an e-reader when I travel to save space in my bag.
Do you use an ad blocker on your browser?
Yes, it makes reading articles online much cleaner and faster.
How do you learn to use new software?
I usually watch quick video tutorials online to learn the basics.
Do you keep your phone on silent mode?
Always, the constant loud notifications are far too distracting.
What is artificial intelligence?
It is when computers are programmed to think and learn like humans.
Do you trust AI to give you accurate information?
I always double check the facts just to be completely safe.
Have you ever bought a smart home device?
Yes, I have a few smart light bulbs in my living room.
Can you fix a broken computer?
I can fix minor software issues, but not massive hardware problems.
Do you prefer typing or writing by hand?
I type much faster, but writing by hand helps me remember things.
Do you use a digital calendar?
Yes, it syncs perfectly across all my electronic devices.
Have you ever lost important data?
Yes, my hard drive crashed once and I lost a lot of photos.
Do you think children should use tablets?
Yes, but only for a limited time and for educational games.
Do you clear your internet history?
I clear my cache and cookies every few months to speed up my browser.
What is the best invention of the 21st century?
High-speed mobile internet has completely changed the entire world.
Do you use dark mode on your devices?
Yes, it is much easier on my eyes when working at night.
Do you still use a USB flash drive?
Rarely, transferring files over the internet is much faster now.
Do you like spending time in nature?
Yes, being outdoors makes me feel very calm and grounded.
Have you ever been camping in the woods?
Yes, I love sleeping in a tent under the bright stars.
Do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
I definitely prefer the cool, crisp air of the mountains.
What is your favorite season of the year?
Autumn is beautiful because of the changing, colorful leaves.
Do you enjoy hiking on steep trails?
Yes, it is a great workout and the views are highly rewarding.
Have you ever seen a shooting star?
Yes, I saw several during a massive meteor shower last year.
Do you know how to build a campfire?
Yes, it is one of the most important outdoor survival skills.
Are you afraid of wild animals?
I respect them and try to keep a very safe distance.
Do you like swimming in the ocean?
I prefer swimming in clear, calm freshwater lakes.
Have you ever been caught in a thunderstorm?
Yes, we had to run back to the car quickly to stay dry.
Do you collect seashells at the beach?
I used to do that all the time when I was a young child.
What is your favorite flower?
I really love the calming smell of wild lavender.
Do you enjoy picnics in the park?
Yes, bringing sandwiches and a blanket is a perfect afternoon.
Have you ever climbed a tall tree?
I did it constantly when I was young and full of energy.
Do you know how to use a compass?
I learned once, but I mostly rely on my phone's GPS now.
Do you like walking barefoot on the grass?
Yes, it feels very grounding and deeply relaxing.
Have you ever seen a wild bear?
No, and I sincerely hope I never cross paths with one.
Do you enjoy bird watching?
I do not own binoculars, but I love listening to them sing.
What is the most beautiful natural place you have visited?
A giant waterfall hidden deep inside a quiet green forest.
Do you prefer sunny or cloudy weather for a hike?
Cloudy weather is much better because you do not overheat.
Have you ever gone fishing in a river?
Yes, it requires a massive amount of quiet patience.
Do you think protecting the environment is important?
It is absolutely crucial for the future of our entire planet.
Do you enjoy watching the sunrise or the sunset?
Sunsets are my favorite because the colors are incredibly rich.
Have you ever slept in a hammock?
Yes, it is surprisingly comfortable for a lazy afternoon nap.
Do you know the names of the constellations?
I only know how to easily find the Big Dipper in the sky.
Do you like the smell of rain?
Yes, especially after a very long, dry, and hot summer.
Have you ever gone kayaking?
Yes, paddling down a quiet river is an incredibly peaceful experience.
Do you prefer paved walking paths or dirt trails?
Dirt trails feel much more like a genuine outdoor adventure.
Do you bring a camera when you hike?
Always, nature provides the absolute best lighting for beautiful photos.
Have you ever explored a cave?
Yes, but it was very dark and a little bit scary inside.
Do you like snowy landscapes?
They are beautiful to look at, but I really hate the freezing cold.
Have you ever planted a vegetable garden?
I grow some fresh herbs on my bright kitchen windowsill.
Do you think spending time outside reduces stress?
Yes, it completely clears my mind of all daily anxieties.
Do you enjoy visiting art museums?
Yes, I love seeing classic massive paintings up close in person.
Have you ever taken an art history class?
I took one in college and it was incredibly interesting.
Do you prefer modern art or classical art?
I prefer classical art because of the incredible attention to detail.
What is your favorite famous painting?
The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh is my absolute favorite.
Do you like going to the theater to see plays?
Seeing live actors perform on a wooden stage is a magical experience.
Have you ever read a Shakespeare play?
I read Romeo and Juliet when I was studying in high school.
Do you enjoy learning about ancient history?
Yes, reading about the massive Roman Empire is completely fascinating.
Have you ever visited a historical monument?
I have visited a few ancient stone temples while traveling abroad.
Do you like listening to classical music?
It really helps me focus deeply when I am studying or working.
What is your favorite historical time period?
I find the massive artistic explosion of the Renaissance period inspiring.
Do you enjoy reading biographies of historical figures?
Yes, it is amazing to see exactly how they changed the entire world.
Have you ever tried writing a short story?
I write creative short stories in my private journal purely for fun.
Do you like watching historical documentaries?
They are much more entertaining than reading a dry history textbook.
Have you ever been to an opera?
No, the tickets for a good seat are usually a bit too expensive.
Do you appreciate abstract art?
Sometimes it is a little hard for me to understand the true hidden meaning.
What is the most famous landmark in your country?
We have a beautiful ancient citadel that international tourists absolutely love.
Do you enjoy learning about different cultures?
Yes, trying their traditional, authentic food is always the absolute best part.
Have you ever attended a cultural festival?
I went to a beautiful, glowing paper lantern festival just last year.
Do you like reading classic literature?
Some of the old books are quite difficult to read because of the vocabulary.
Have you ever learned to play a traditional instrument?
I tried playing the bamboo flute once, but it was incredibly hard.
Do you think history repeats itself?
Yes, basic human nature does not really change very much over time.
Have you ever visited a castle or a palace?
Walking through a real stone castle feels exactly like stepping back in time.
Do you enjoy looking at sculptures?
Carving a realistic face out of solid marble takes incredible physical skill.
What is your favorite cultural dish to cook?
Making authentic Italian pasta entirely from scratch is my absolute favorite.
Have you ever tried speaking a different language abroad?
I tried ordering coffee in French, but I struggled a little bit with the accent.
Do you like wearing traditional clothing?
Only on special cultural holidays or highly important family occasions.
Have you ever studied mythology?
Greek mythology is full of massive drama and exciting heroic adventures.
Do you enjoy browsing antique shops?
Finding old books and maps feels exactly like finding hidden, valuable treasure.
Have you ever painted a portrait of someone?
I tried painting my friend, but it unfortunately did not look like them at all.
Do you think art should be beautiful or meaningful?
The very best art manages to be both incredibly beautiful and deeply meaningful.
Do you use social media every day?
Yes, I check my various accounts every single morning.
What is your favorite social media app?
I spend the most time watching educational videos on YouTube.
Have you ever uploaded a video online?
Yes, I actually run a small educational channel myself.
Do you care about how many followers you have?
I care much more about building a highly supportive community.
Have you ever gone viral?
One of my short videos got a massive amount of unexpected views.
Do you read the comments on your posts?
Yes, but I tried to completely ignore the purely negative ones.
Have you ever taken a break from social media?
I delete the apps from my phone completely when I need to focus.
Do you use filters on your photos?
Only slightly to adjust the basic lighting and colors.
Have you ever bought something advertised online?
Yes, highly targeted ads are unfortunately very effective on me.
Do you follow any famous influencers?
I only follow creators who share genuinely useful educational content.
What do you think about online privacy?
It is incredibly hard to stay completely private on the internet nowadays.
Do you use a nickname online?
I use my real name for all my professional business accounts.
Have you ever blocked someone online?
Yes, setting strict boundaries on the internet is very important for mental health.
Do you share personal news on social media?
I prefer telling my close friends and family directly in person.
Have you ever made a friend through the internet?
I have met many great, highly creative people online.
Do you prefer text messages or voice notes?
Voice notes are much faster when my hands are full or I am busy.
What is the first website you check every day?
I usually check my massive email inbox first thing in the morning.
Do you use hashtags on your posts?
They help new people find my educational content much more easily.
Have you ever written a review for a restaurant?
Yes, I really like supporting good local businesses with positive reviews.
Do you think people are honest on social media?
Most people only ever show the absolute best parts of their lives.
Have you ever live streamed?
Yes, doing a live question and answer session with my viewers was very fun.
Do you currently work in an office?
I actually work from my home studio for most of the week.
Have you ever had a part-time job?
I worked at a quiet, dusty bookstore when I was a university student.
Do you save a portion of your salary?
I strictly try to save at least 20% every single month.
What is your dream job?
I am already doing it by creating my own independent content.
Do you prefer working alone or in a team?
I work much faster and more efficiently when I am completely alone.
Have you ever asked for a pay raise?
It is intimidating, but you absolutely have to know your own worth.
Do you invest your money in the stock market?
I invest a little bit of money into highly safe index funds.
Are you good at managing your time?
I use strict daily schedules to ensure I always meet my deadlines.
Have you ever been late for an important meeting?
Only once, and it was entirely because of terrible, unexpected traffic.
Do you know how to write a formal business letter?
Yes, keeping it completely clear and perfectly concise is the key.
Have you ever had a terrible boss?
I had one who micromanaged every single tiny thing I did.
Do you prefer a fixed salary or being paid by the hour?
A fixed salary provides much more long-term financial stability.
Have you ever started your own business?
Building my online channel is essentially running a very small business.
Do you keep a strict monthly budget?
I track my major expenses closely to avoid completely overspending.
What is the most difficult part of your job?
Coming up with fresh, highly creative ideas every single week.
Do you enjoy reading about space?
Yes, the massive vastness of the universe is absolutely mind-blowing.
Have you ever looked through a powerful telescope?
I saw the bright rings of Saturn once and it looked unbelievable.
Do you think there is life on other planets?
The universe is so incredibly massive that we simply cannot be alone.
Have you ever visited a science museum?
Yes, the interactive physics exhibits are always very fun and highly educational.
Do you understand how black holes work?
I know their massive gravity is so strong that not even light escapes.
Have you ever watched a rocket launch live?
Watching the tense countdown on my computer screen is always so exciting.
Do you think time travel is scientifically possible?
Only going forward in time seems theoretically possible according to physics.
What is your favorite planet in our solar system?
Mars is fascinating because humans might actually live there very soon.
Have you ever studied the periodic table?
I had to memorize parts of it for a difficult high school chemistry test.
Do you know the speed of light?
It is nearly 300,000 kilometers per single second.
What is your favorite piece of clothing?
I absolutely love wearing my oversized, incredibly comfortable wool sweater.
Do you prefer wearing bright colors or dark colors?
I mostly wear simple black, gray, and very dark blue clothes.
Have you ever bought clothes online that did not fit?
Yes, the sizing charts on the internet can be very inaccurate sometimes.
Do you iron your clothes every morning?
I try to buy wrinkle-free fabrics to completely save myself the time.
What do you wear when you are relaxing at home?
I immediately change into soft sweatpants and a highly comfortable t-shirt.
Have you ever worn a formal tuxedo or an evening gown?
I wore a very nice tailored suit to my good friend's wedding last year.
Do you care about expensive designer labels?
Not at all. I care much more about the actual quality of the stitching.
How often do you buy new shoes?
I only buy a new pair when my old ones are completely destroyed.
Do you like wearing hats?
I wear a warm, thick beanie when the winter weather gets freezing cold.
Have you ever dyed your hair a crazy color?
I dyed the tips of my hair bright red when I was a rebellious teenager.
What is your biggest personal goal right now?
I want to completely finish writing my new educational video series.
Do you write your goals down on paper?
Yes, seeing them written down makes them feel much more real to me.
Have you ever achieved a major childhood dream?
I always wanted to create content, and now I actually do it for a living.
Do you believe in setting New Year's resolutions?
I prefer setting small, highly manageable goals every single month.
What is a skill you dream of mastering one day?
I would love to become completely fluent in 3 different languages.
Have you ever given up on a dream?
I changed my career path entirely, but I would not call it giving up.
Do you want to travel the world?
Absolutely, experiencing new cultures is my ultimate lifelong dream.
What is your biggest career ambition?
To build a large, deeply positive online community that loves learning.
Have you ever created a 5-year plan?
Yes, but real life always changes the plan in highly unexpected ways.
Do you think it is ever too late to chase a dream?
Never. As long as you have the passion, you can start today.
What is the hardest part about learning English?
Remembering the complex rules for all the different little prepositions.
Do you think grammar or vocabulary is more important?
Vocabulary allows you to communicate quickly, even if your grammar is bad.
Have you ever felt nervous speaking to a foreigner?
Yes, my mind completely goes blank when I feel pressured to speak perfectly.
Do you watch English movies with or without subtitles?
I use English subtitles so I can read the words exactly as I hear them.
What is your favorite English word?
Serendipity is a beautiful word with a truly wonderful positive meaning.
Have you ever tried shadowing to improve your accent?
Yes, repeating after a native speaker is excellent daily pronunciation practice.
Do you think reading out loud helps your fluency?
It trains your mouth muscles to make the highly unfamiliar English sounds.
What do you do when you forget a word in a conversation?
I try to describe the object using simpler words that I already know.
Have you ever used an app to practice vocabulary?
Flashcard apps are the absolute best way to memorize new phrases quickly.
Do you prefer British or American English?
I am much more used to American English because of Hollywood movies.
What would you do if you won the lottery tomorrow?
I would buy a quiet house in the mountains and travel the world.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I would choose teleportation so I would never have to sit in traffic again.
What would you do if you found a wallet on the street?
I would check for an ID and turn it in to the nearest police station.
If you could time travel, would you go to the past or the future?
I would go to the future to see what amazing technology they invent.
What would you do if you were stranded on a desert island?
I would immediately try to find a reliable source of fresh drinking water.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I could happily eat a massive bowl of hot noodle soup every single day.
What would you do if you woke up and were completely invisible?
I would probably just sneak into a movie theater and watch free films all day.
If you could instantly master any musical instrument, which one would you pick?
The piano, because it sounds incredibly elegant and deeply peaceful.
What would you do if you met your favorite celebrity on the street?
I would probably just smile politely and tell them I love their work.
If you could live in any fictional universe, where would you go?
A magical fantasy world with dragons and wizards sounds very exciting.
Do you prefer driving a small car or a larger vehicle?
I definitely prefer driving a Cub for the extra cabin space and comfort.
Have you ever driven on a steep mountain pass?
Yes, driving through the mountains requires a massive amount of careful focus.
Do you get carsick on winding roads?
Sometimes, especially if the road has too many sharp, unpredictable turns.
What is your favorite type of scenery to drive through?
I love driving past tall pine forests in the cool, breezy highlands.
Do you check your fuel consumption regularly?
Yes, I always monitor exactly how many liters per kilometer my car uses.
Have you ever traveled just to enjoy the cool weather?
Yes, escaping the intense city heat is my favorite reason to travel anywhere.
Do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat on a plane?
The window seat is the absolute best because you can rest your head and sleep.
Have you ever missed a flight?
No, I always arrive at the busy airport at least 2 hours early.
Do you use a map application when you drive?
Always, even when I already know exactly where I am going.
What is the most important feature in a new car for you?
Advanced safety features and good handling on rough roads are highly essential.
Do you enjoy taking photographs?
Yes, capturing beautiful, fleeting moments is a major creative passion of mine.
What is your favorite subject to photograph?
I love taking clear, bright portraits and wide, sweeping landscape shots.
Do you use a mirrorless camera or a DSLR?
I use a modern mirrorless camera because it is much lighter to carry.
Have you ever used a Fujifilm camera?
Yes, their color science makes photos look beautiful without any heavy editing.
Do you prefer shooting video or taking still photos?
I actually do both, but video storytelling is my main professional focus.
Have you ever run a YouTube channel?
Yes, managing an educational channel takes a massive amount of hard work.
What kind of content do you create?
I create highly helpful educational videos, especially for learning English.
Do you use artificial intelligence for content creation?
Yes, AI is an amazing, tireless tool for brainstorming and generating ideas.
Have you ever written a script for a video?
Writing a clear, highly structured script is the most important part of production.
Do you edit your own videos?
Yes, sitting at the computer and cutting the footage takes many hours.
Do you use a smart lock on your front door?
Yes, not having to carry heavy metal keys anymore is incredibly convenient.
Have you ever compared different smart lock brands?
I did a lot of research comparing models like Lock-in and EasyVIZ recently.
Do you check the IP rating before buying outdoor electronics?
An IP rating is absolutely crucial to make sure the device is completely waterproof.
Have you ever used your fingerprint to unlock a door?
Yes, a biometric fingerprint scanner is the fastest possible way to get inside.
Do you have security cameras installed around your house?
I use a few smart cameras that send instant alerts directly to my phone.
Have you ever used a robotic vacuum cleaner?
It cleans the dusty floors every morning while I am busy working.
Do you control your home lighting with your voice?
Yes, I can ask the smart assistant to turn off all the lights at bedtime.
Have you ever set up an automated morning routine?
My smart blinds open automatically when my morning alarm clock goes off.
Do you use a smart thermostat to save energy?
It learns my daily schedule and turns the heat down when I leave the house.
What happens to a smart lock if the battery dies?
Most of them have an emergency USB port to plug in a portable power bank.
What is the biggest challenge you have overcome recently?
Learning how to highly efficiently write and edit my own YouTube videos.
Do you think stepping out of your comfort zone is important?
Growth absolutely never happens when you are feeling completely safe and comfortable.
Have you ever learned a complex new software from scratch?
Yes, learning advanced video editing tools was incredibly frustrating at first.
Do you read self-help or personal development books?
I prefer reading biographies of successful people to learn from their exact mistakes.
What is the best way to handle negative feedback online?
Extract any genuinely useful advice from it and completely ignore the mean delivery.
Have you ever completely changed your daily routine?
I started waking up much earlier to get my script writing done first.
Do you think failure is necessary for success?
Every massive failure is just a very harsh, practical lesson on what not to do.
What is a bad habit you successfully stopped doing?
I finally stopped checking my social media statistics right before going to bed.
Have you ever given a public speech?
Speaking directly to a camera lens every day actually cured my fear of public speaking.
Do you set small goals to reach a large objective?
Breaking a huge project into tiny daily tasks is the absolute only way to finish it.
What makes a friendship last for a very long time?
Deep mutual respect and the ability to forgive small, silly mistakes quickly.
Do you prefer having a few close friends or a massive social circle?
I deeply prefer a very small, incredibly loyal group of highly trusted friends.
Have you ever reconnected with a friend after many years?
Yes, we picked up the conversation exactly where we left off a decade ago.
What is the best way to support a friend who is struggling?
Just listen to them completely without immediately trying to fix their problems.
Do you think online communities can be as strong as real life ones?
Yes, people with shared deep interests form incredibly strong bonds online.
Have you ever met an internet friend in real life?
Meeting my YouTube friends in person was a fantastic, highly surreal experience.
What is a common reason friendships slowly drift apart?
A severe lack of communication and changing priorities as people grow older.
Do you think it is hard to make new friends as an adult?
It is much harder because you do not have the forced daily proximity of school anymore.
Have you ever traveled internationally with a close friend?
Traveling together is the ultimate, massive test of how strong your friendship actually is.
What is the most thoughtful gift a friend has ever given you?
A friend gave me a vintage camera lens they knew I had been searching for.
Do you work better in the morning or late at night?
I am definitely a morning person. My brain is completely fresh and focused then.
Have you ever used the Pomodoro technique for studying?
Working for exactly 25 minutes and resting for 5 is highly effective.
What is the biggest distraction when you are trying to work?
My smartphone buzzing with constant, entirely useless social media notifications.
Do you prefer a noisy cafe or a silent library for deep work?
I need absolute, completely uninterrupted silence when I am writing or studying.
Have you ever fallen asleep while reading a textbook?
Many times, especially if the subject matter is incredibly dry and highly boring.
What is your favorite way to organize your daily tasks?
I write a very simple, bulleted list in a physical notebook every single morning.
Do you listen to music while you are working?
Only instrumental music, songs with catchy lyrics completely distract my thoughts.
Have you ever missed a major deadline?
Only once, and the severe stress of apologizing taught me a huge lesson.
Do you think multitasking is a real skill?
Multitasking just means doing several different things very poorly at the exact same time.
What is the best way to prepare for a big presentation?
Practice it out loud in front of a mirror at least 5 separate times.
Do you stretch your muscles immediately after waking up?
Doing 5 minutes of light stretching instantly removes all the heavy morning stiffness.
Have you ever tracked your daily water intake with an app?
Yes, it is shocking how little water you actually drink when you are deeply focused.
What is your absolute favorite way to exercise outdoors?
Taking a very brisk, long walk through a quiet, beautiful neighborhood park.
Do you prefer working out alone or in a crowded gym class?
Working out entirely alone lets me move exactly at my own perfect, comfortable pace.
Have you ever tried practicing mindful meditation for stress?
Focusing entirely on your breath completely stops an anxious, rapidly racing mind.
What is the most important part of your nightly bedtime routine?
Turning off every single glowing screen at least an entire hour before sleep.
Do you take daily vitamins to support your immune system?
I take a simple multivitamin and extra vitamin D during the dark, freezing winters.
Have you ever used a foam roller on sore muscles?
It is incredibly painful at first, but it makes your tired legs feel completely brand new.
What is a healthy food swap you have successfully made?
I replaced heavily sugary sodas completely with crisp, highly refreshing sparkling water.
Do you prioritize getting a full 8 hours of sleep every night?
Deep sleep is the absolute foundational pillar of all physical and mental health.
What is your absolute favorite childhood memory?
Waking up incredibly early on a cool weekend morning to happily watch cartoons.
Do you remember the name of your very first best friend?
Yes, we used to ride our bicycles around the neighborhood every single sunny day.
Did you have a favorite toy that you carried absolutely everywhere?
I had a small plastic toy camera that I used to pretend to take professional photos with.
What was your favorite subject when you were in primary school?
I absolutely loved art class because we got to paint and make huge, colorful messes.
Did you ever get into serious trouble at school for talking too much?
My teachers always had to move my desk because I would not stop whispering to my friends.
What was the absolute best meal your parents cooked for you as a kid?
A massive, steaming bowl of hot, deeply savory noodle soup on a freezing, rainy day.
Did you have a secret treehouse or a hidden fort in the woods?
We built a highly secret fort out of old cardboard boxes in the dark garage.
Do you remember the very first movie you ever saw in a real theater?
I remember the massive screen and the incredibly loud, completely overwhelming sound system.
What did you strictly want to be when you finally grew up?
I wanted to be a famous movie director and tell completely amazing, highly creative stories.
Did you ever try to run away from home over a tiny, silly argument?
I packed a small bag of sweet snacks and only made it to the very end of the street.
Do you deeply prefer reading incredibly massive fiction or highly educational nonfiction books?
I completely prefer massive, highly creative fiction to entirely escape from my busy reality.
Have you ever entirely, completely tried to beautifully write a highly massive, deeply complex novel?
I wrote incredibly massive, highly detailed character outlines, but I completely failed to actually finish it.
What is the absolutely most highly inspiring, completely specific book you have entirely ever read?
A deeply massive, incredibly detailed biography about a highly resilient, brilliant historical inventor.
Do you deeply prefer completely physical, incredibly heavy books, or a highly sleek, entirely digital e-reader?
A highly massive physical book smells wonderful, but an e-reader is incredibly convenient for traveling.
Have you ever entirely, completely read a deeply massive book that absolutely broke your heart?
I completely sobbed at the incredibly beautiful, deeply tragic ending of a highly famous romance novel.
What is your absolutely most highly preferred, completely quiet environment for deeply focused reading?
Curled entirely up in a deeply massive, highly comfortable chair with incredibly warm, perfectly soft lighting.
Do you deeply ever entirely reread your absolutely favorite, highly comforting, massive books?
Rereading is completely wonderful because you always notice deeply subtle, entirely new background details.
Have you ever entirely, completely judged a highly massive book purely by its incredibly beautiful cover?
Absolutely. A deeply massive, highly gorgeous artistic cover will completely, instantly grab my entire attention.
What is the incredibly, most highly, deeply challenging, completely massive book you have ever finished?
A completely massive, highly complex Russian classic that took me incredibly almost 3 entire months to read.
Do you deeply prefer incredibly fast-paced, highly tense thrillers or completely slow, deeply atmospheric mysteries?
I entirely love a deeply massive, highly slow burn mystery that incredibly slowly builds extreme tension.
Do you completely believe that highly advanced, massive artificial intelligence will entirely replace human creative artists?
AI can generate completely massive, highly complex visuals, but it lacks genuine, deeply massive human emotional trauma.
Have you ever entirely, completely imagined living in a deeply massive, highly complex, futuristic city completely built on Mars?
The completely massive, incredibly highly harsh environment would require deeply massive, highly advanced survival technology.
What is the absolute, most highly terrifying, completely specific, massive piece of future technology you can entirely imagine?
Deeply massive, completely entirely highly microscopic nanobots that can completely entirely control human brain functions.
Do you deeply prefer completely massive, highly gritty cyberpunk movies or entirely clean, incredibly bright deep space utopian visions?
I completely entirely prefer deeply massive, highly complex, incredibly dirty cyberpunk because it feels completely realistic.
Have you ever entirely, completely, deeply, completely watched a highly massive, incredibly complex movie about completely time travel?
The completely massive, incredibly, highly, deeply complex paradoxes always make my deeply massive entire brain hurt.
What is your absolutely most highly favorite, completely specific, incredibly massive, deeply complex, completely entirely futuristic vehicle design?
A completely, entirely, incredibly highly massive flying car that completely silently hovers incredibly, deeply massive, perfectly above traffic.
Do you completely believe that highly massive, incredibly complex, completely entirely teleportation will deeply ever become a massive physical reality?
Breaking completely massive, highly complex physical matter down and rebuilding it seems incredibly highly massive, deeply absolutely impossible.
Have you ever entirely, completely played a deeply massive, highly complex, entirely incredibly massive virtual reality space exploration game?
Floating completely, entirely, incredibly highly massive, deeply, completely alone in the massive digital void is entirely terrifying.
What is the absolute most highly, completely specific, massive, completely, entirely incredible benefit of a completely highly advanced smart lock?
A completely, entirely, incredibly highly massive biometric lock means you deeply, entirely, completely never have to remember physical keys.
Do you deeply prefer completely massive, highly complex, entirely massive robots that completely look human or highly deeply obvious machines?
I completely, entirely prefer deeply massive, highly complex machines. Human looking robots are completely, incredibly, highly creepy.
Do you prefer driving a low sedan or a higher vehicle?
I definitely prefer a CUV because the higher ground clearance is perfect for rough roads.
How does your car handle steep mountain passes?
It handles beautifully, even when the roads are wet and winding.
Do you pay attention to your car's fuel consumption?
Yes, tracking fuel efficiency is incredibly important when driving on hills.
Have you ever taken a road trip through the highlands?
Yes, driving through the cool mountain air is my favorite way to travel.
Do you prefer an automatic or manual transmission for city driving?
Automatic is much better for surviving stop and go city traffic.
What is the most important safety feature in a modern car?
Automatic emergency braking has saved me from a few minor accidents.
Have you ever had a flat tire in the middle of nowhere?
Yes, but luckily I knew exactly how to use the spare tire kit in the trunk.
Do you like listening to music or podcasts while driving?
I listen to educational podcasts to make the long commute productive.
How often do you take your car in for routine maintenance?
I take it to the mechanic every 5,000 kilometers for an oil change.
Do you think electric cars will completely replace gas cars soon?
Yes, as charging stations become more common, electric cars will take over.
What brand of camera do you use for your video content?
I love using mirrorless cameras, especially ones with great color science like Fujifilm.
Do you shoot your videos in 4K resolution?
Yes, 4K gives the footage a very crisp, professional, and cinematic look.
How do you make the background blurry in your videos?
I use a lens with a very wide aperture to create a beautiful depth of field.
Do you prefer taking photos in a studio or outdoors?
Natural sunlight is beautiful, but a studio gives you total control over the shadows.
Have you ever struggled with your camera's autofocus?
Sometimes it hunts for the subject, which is why Sony's eye tracking is so helpful.
What is the most important piece of lighting equipment you own?
A large softbox light is essential for flattering, even lighting on a person's face.
Do you use a teleprompter when recording educational videos?
Yes, it helps me deliver complex grammar explanations smoothly without looking away.
How long does it usually take to edit a 10-minute video?
Editing the video, mixing the audio, and color grading usually takes several hours.
Do you create your own thumbnails for your channel?
Yes, designing a clean, clickable thumbnail is just as important as the video itself.
Have you ever lost your video footage because a memory card corrupted?
It is my worst nightmare, so I immediately back up all my files to two separate hard drives.
What is the most useful smart home device you own?
My smart door lock is definitely the most convenient piece of technology I have.
Do you use a fingerprint or a passcode to unlock your door?
The fingerprint scanner is much faster, especially when my hands are full of groceries.
Have you ever worried about the battery dying on a smart lock?
The app warns me weeks in advance, and there is always an emergency power port.
What does an IP rating mean for outdoor electronics?
It tells you exactly how resistant the device is to heavy rain and dust.
Do you use security cameras around your property?
Yes, having cameras that send instant notifications to my phone makes me feel very secure.
Have you ever compared different smart security brands?
I spent a lot of time comparing features between brands like EZVIZ and Lock-in.
Do you control your house lights with voice commands?
Yes, being able to turn off all the lights from bed is incredibly lazy, but wonderful.
What happens if your home internet goes down?
Most smart locks still work perfectly via Bluetooth, even without an internet connection.
Do you use a robotic vacuum cleaner?
It saves me hours of sweeping every single week, which is amazing.
Have you ever shared a digital key with a guest?
Yes, it is great because you can set the key to expire after they leave.
What is the hardest part about speaking a new language?
overcoming the fear of making a mistake in front of a native speaker.
Do you think watching English movies helps with pronunciation?
Yes, shadowing the actors is a fantastic way to improve your natural rhythm.
How do you remember difficult English vocabulary words?
I use them immediately in a real sentence to lock them into my memory.
Do you prefer learning grammar rules or conversational phrases?
Conversational phrases are much more practical for everyday communication.
Have you ever felt frustrated by your progress in learning?
Everyone hits a plateau, but consistency is the only way to break through it.
Do you think reading out loud improves fluency?
It physically trains your mouth muscles to produce unfamiliar English sounds.
What is your favorite way to practice listening skills?
Listening to casual, unscripted podcasts while I am doing household chores.
Have you ever translated a song's lyrics to understand the meaning?
Yes, but idioms and cultural jokes rarely translate perfectly.
Do you think having an accent is a bad thing?
Not at all. An accent simply proves that you are brave enough to learn a second language.
How do you handle it when you completely forget a word?
I stay calm and try to describe the object using simpler words I already know.
What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
I open the windows to let the cool, fresh mountain air into the room.
Do you drink coffee or tea to start your day?
A strong cup of hot coffee is absolutely essential before I start writing.
Have you ever grown flowers or vegetables in a garden?
The cool climate here is absolutely perfect for growing beautiful flowers.
Do you prefer walking or driving to the local market?
Walking is great exercise, but driving is necessary when I buy a lot of groceries.
What is your favorite way to spend a quiet Sunday afternoon?
Sitting at a cafe with a great view, drinking tea, and reading a good book.
Do you ever get tired of the cold weather?
I actually love the cold because you can always wear comfortable, warm layers.
Have you ever taken a hike through the pine forests?
Walking through the quiet trees is my favorite way to clear my mind.
Do you prefer cooking at home or eating street food?
I cook at home mostly, but hot street food is amazing on a chilly evening.
What time do you usually go to sleep?
I try to be in bed by 11 so I am completely rested for the next day.
Do you have a specific routine for unwinding at night?
I turn off all my bright screens and listen to instrumental music.
How do you stay motivated when a project becomes incredibly difficult?
I remind myself how many people my educational videos are actually helping.
Have you ever had to learn a completely new software from scratch?
Yes, learning advanced video editing was frustrating but absolutely necessary for my career.
What do you do when you experience severe creative burnout?
I completely step away from my computer and take a long weekend off to rest.
Do you set strict daily deadlines for yourself?
Working independently means you have to be your own strict manager.
Have you ever completely failed at a major project?
Yes, but analyzing why it failed taught me exactly what not to do next time.
Do you think taking calculated risks is important for success?
If you never take a risk, you will never grow beyond your current comfort zone.
What is the most important skill for running an online business?
Consistency is far more important than going viral overnight.
Have you ever received harsh criticism from a viewer?
You have to separate the constructive advice from the pure negativity.
Do you keep a dedicated workspace in your home?
Having a specific room just for working helps me separate my job from my personal life.
How do you handle distractions when you need to focus deeply?
I put my phone on silent and leave it in a completely different room.
What is the most valuable life lesson you have learned so far?
Time is your most precious resource. Spend it doing things that actually matter to you.
Do you believe that true happiness comes from achieving big goals?
Happiness comes from enjoying the quiet, everyday moments while working toward those goals.
Have you ever changed a core belief you held for a long time?
Yes, being open to changing your mind is a sign of intelligence and growth.
What would you tell your younger self if you could go back in time?
I would tell myself to stop worrying so much about what other people think.
Do you think hardships make a person stronger or more bitter?
It depends entirely on whether they choose to learn from the pain or hold on to it.
What is the true definition of a successful life in your eyes?
Having the freedom to wake up every day and choose exactly how you spend your time.
Have you ever felt perfectly content with exactly where you are?
Yes, realizing you already have everything you need is a profoundly peaceful feeling.
Do you think human connection is more important than personal ambition?
Achievements feel completely empty if you do not have anyone you love to share them with.
What legacy do you want to leave behind in the world?
I want to be remembered as someone who made learning easier and more enjoyable for others.
If you could only ask one final question, what would it be?
How can I use what I have learned today to help someone else tomorrow?